you know you can't keep swiping your card in this thing forever and taking money out? You actually have to put money in too. Major bummer. But the banks have this concept they call transactions. Big word, I know, but they say we have to understand it. There are negative transactions and positive transactions. Negative transactions are when I take money out, like this. Positive transactions are when we put money back in, so they tell us we can take it out again later. Money in, money out. Not that hard.
Okay, you may have this money thing down just fine, but what about your relationships? I don't think any of us wants to live in a world where we keep a detailed balance sheet on our relationships or are always preoccupied with making sure we have a favorable return on investment with them either. But at the same time, that is how we operate emotionally. When we continue to take from a relationship without contributing something back, we wear each other out. It takes a toll on us. And we teach each other some really important things about how invested and how trustworthy we are in a relationship by how much we contribute and how much we deposit in a relationship compared to how much we draw from it. My wife and I had a pretty steep learning curve after we had just been married a couple of years. It was so easy when we were just dating and deciding to get married. I mean, there was really nothing more to life that we wanted to do than make the other person happy. So thoughtful and selfless gestures were just the way it worked. We were amassing huge balances in each other's emotional banking accounts without even knowing what we were doing. We had no idea of the great stuff we were doing. Then day-to-day life happened. School for me, work for her. We were busy, stuff still had to get done. We didn't appreciate the little things we'd always been doing for each other. No, we expected them. And we were much less inclined to do things back for the other person. I didn't bother to make sure I got back early enough in the evening to help join in on making dinner, and she was too tired to stay up with me while I studied at night. For a long time, we didn't really notice anything because there's that big wad of emotional cash there paying the bills between us. Somewhere along the line, we both noticed that our accounts were getting a little bit low. I noticed that she wasn't doing all those little things for me anymore. She noticed I wasn't doing all those little things for her anymore. Neither of us realized that we weren't doing them ourselves. Our lack of awareness of what had made our relationship so productive and so fun for all those years is what left us unprepared for being able to fix it. And the bliss, it began to fade into resentment. The fact is, we all have accounts with each other. It isn't money, but deposits and withdrawals of things that we value emotionally that make up the transactions. When we are in the black, we have better feelings about each other. And the building blocks of our relationships, like communication, the ability to resolve conflict with each other, they just work better. Our input and our advice are also a lot more welcome when there's a healthy balance in the account. This may seem a little antithetical to a faith that's supposed to be all about unconditional love. If the only reason we do care about another person is because we get more from them than we give, well, then we've got it all wrong. But this isn't about whether our love is conditional or not. This is about how we live that out. Jesus talked a lot about the fact that the love that we have for each other should make a difference. It ought to contribute to the lives of other people. When he told that story about the Samaritan who saw the stranger in the ditch as his neighbor, and so he helped him, Jesus ended that story by saying, "Go and do likewise." Jesus acted out love. He didn't just preach about it. The Bible does not use love as an abstract term. It's an activity. It does things. It changes things. Love is patient. It's kind. It hopes all things, bears all things, endures all things. Love never quits giving. When your love isn't being acted out in your relationships, it's telling you something's wrong. When your credit card is rejected at the grocery store, it's telling you something is wrong. My balance goes up and down in my marriage and in my relationship with my kids and people at work. That's just sort of natural. But something that my wife and I learned a long time ago is that a relationship where we both consciously make as many deposits and as few withdrawals as possible is a relationship that we enjoy a lot more. I like it when she makes deposits in my account. And you know, the best way I have found to get her to do it? By making deposits in hers. And here's the trick about these deposits. It has to be a deposit that the other person values, not just you. We all have different currencies, and we have to give gifts according to those currencies. It's like giving a Christmas present to someone of something that you've always wanted. Might work, probably won't. The big place I had to figure this all out was with my work. I thought because I was slaving away at the office all day that I was exempt from doing my share of things at the house or maybe spending as much time with the kids as my wife did. After all, I was working. I was bringing home the bacon. Didn't that pile up some unassailable mountain of credits that I could draw on at any time? I know they appreciated the fact that I did provide an income for the family, but on a personal scale, it just didn't register with them. All they knew was that while I was at work, I was gone. I was missing in action. I wasn't a part of their lives. I also had to learn that there's no coasting. Our relationships with each other have monthly fees attached. If you haven't been doing anything in your relationship, either positively or negatively, the operative thing there is that you haven't been doing anything. That drains a relationship. An unattended relationship falls apart. The healthiest way to be in a relationship is to be a consistent contributor to it. Simple and regular deposits of attentiveness, listening, kindness, helping, saying things like thank you and I'm sorry build the strongest relationships. The saying is true. In relationships, slow is fast and fast is slow. Don't try to impress someone with that great big gift or that one-time over-the-top performance. I'm of the school of relational banking that believes that frequency and consistency of deposits trumps the size of deposits any day. And just think about it. If you've been running a deficit for a long, long time and all of a sudden $100,000 shows up in your account, do you think anyone's going to really believe that that was legitimate? No. Slow is fast and fast is slow. Likewise, realize that when you are overdrawn with someone else, when you have burnt too many bridges by being unreliable or thoughtless, whatever, you swiped that debit card too many times, and then you go to make a deposit in their account, don't be too surprised if they don't instantaneously think you're the most wonderful person in all the world. You may still have a pretty significant debt there. You did the right thing. You made a deposit. That's good. But you gotta keep doing them. Think about it. There's a lot of $10 deposits that have to be thrown against a $100 debt before you have anything to draw on. Keep doing the right thing. That's what's important. Build up that account and be patient. Do what is right. Make deposits with other people because that's what we do with people that we're in relationship with, not because you get credit for it. That will make your relationships healthy. That's how life that is really life is built. And then, when you do need to draw on those relationships sometime a little bit, or even a lot, you'll be covered.